Hey guys, another word of encouragement. Figured I'd get on here and put it out. It seems like every time I have a video that I want to put out, it's always late at night, past midnight, always in this kitchen, but I figured I'd put it out. And about a day or so ago, I was thinking about two stories that are told in the four Gospels. And the first one is the calling of Andrew, Peter, James, and John. And this is when Jesus was teaching on the shore one day, and the four came in on a boat from a long night of fishing. They hadn't caught anything, and Jesus was teaching on the shore. And he asked to use Peter's boat, and Peter allowed him to use the boat. So Jesus gets in the boat, and he teaches. And after he's done teaching, he tells Peter to put his empty nets that hadn't been filled all night down for a catch. Peter's reluctant, but he says, "We've had a bad night." Jesus insists that he does. So Peter agrees. They put the nets down, and out of nowhere, fishes, clearly sent from God, fill their nets till they almost break. And a miraculous catch of fish is supplied to the fishermen. Peter realizes it was by the work of Jesus, and then they go and follow him. And there's a lesson in this story. So, the four had been fishing all night prior. They said, "We're just going to go out fishing," and they were fishermen. It was their, profession. It was their, what kept food on the table. So they go out and they go fishing, and they have a horrible night. I'm sure somebody that's a fisherman on here that may be watching this video can say that there's been some nights when you go fishing that you don't get any fish. That's a bad night. That's a bad fishing night. And it was the same case for the two sets of brothers that had went fishing together. So they had a bad night, and they were fishing, and their nets, nothing filled their nets at all. Which I'm sure they thought at times, we've had bad nights, but we at least catch something. But we're catching nothing tonight. And this sea is full of fish. So the next morning they come up to the shore, and then Jesus is standing there. And when he fills their nets, it just amazes them. And the illustration I want to use here is that this is a call to somebody. You have been fishing out in the sea of the world for too long, looking for something to fill your nets, or your net, your spiritual net. And you've got nothing. Nothing is filling you. You've cast it out, and you've cast it out on things and hoped that it would fill you, but your net comes up empty each time. Maybe you feel the weight. Maybe you feel a little tug or weight on your net, and then you pull it up and it's nothing. But when you come and you let your net down into the waters that are blessed by the Lord, you let your net down into his divine hand, and you say, "Lord, fill it," you will get more than you ask for. You will get more than you thought you would. They didn't know what Jesus was doing. They didn't think that a whole swarm of fish would fill their nets until they almost broke. They didn't think that. They have heard of Jesus. Andrew knew Jesus from John the Baptist, and they had, known he kind of does miracles, but they'd heard him teach, but they didn't think he could just give them fish. So when their nets get filled, they're shocked. And it just amazes them. And that's what will happen when you surrender your life over to the Lord. I don't know who this is for, but you've been out looking for something to fill you. But you're never going to get filled until you let the Lord fill you. Trust me, I know. I spent countless times and too much time out in the world looking for something to fill me. We all have. I looked and tried to get filled on different things, to take away sadness and things that was in my life, and to give me joy and peace and happiness. But I never got that until I finally said, Lord, fill me. And he filled me up with joy that I can't explain. He filled me up with his Holy Ghost. He filled me up with all the blessings that I never thought I would get, that I can't even believe I have received. Blessings that nothing else could have gave me, but Jesus gave me. I could have got these blessings and this peace and this joy and what he's given me the past year or two since I started letting him fill me and use me. I would never got any of these blessings or any of this peace and joy but from the Lord. The Lord was the only one and is the only one that can give you what you desire, and he was the only one that could give me what I desired. And I'm so thankful each day what he's given me. And he can do the same for you because he did it for me. See, your net will never be filled or full until you let God fill it. So you might be wondering, what's the second story? And this is for maybe Christians that have went out and tried to get filled on other things. And maybe you've forgotten who can truly fill your spiritual net or nets or you spiritually. And this is the second fishing story in the Gospels, which is telling the Gospel of John, only the Gospel of John. And this is after the resurrection of Jesus. So Simon Peter says, I'm going to go out fishing. And James and John and Andrew, and it says a few other of Jesus' disciples, go out on a boat onto a lake near Tiberias to go fishing. And Jesus hadn't appeared to them in a while, so they were just going fishing. And most likely they were just going fishing. Simon Peter, a lot of people think it's because he was hopeless. Probably wasn't because he was hopeless. They were just going fishing to get food, because maybe they were running out of food. They've been hiding in the upper room. You never know. But they go out and they go fishing. And they fish and fish and fish, and they can't catch anything. Sound familiar? Sounds familiar to what had happened years earlier, first time that Jesus filled their nets. They can't get anything. And then Jesus comes walking on the shore. He says, brothers, have you caught anything? That's not exactly what he says, but I'm just paraphrasing. And they say, no, we haven't caught anything. They don't know who he is. And he tells them to cast their nets over to the side of the boat like he did before. And miraculously, their nets get filled. And then they realize it is him. And they say, Jesus. Maybe that's what they said. And they run to him on the shore. And they have a little breakfast with him. But the illustration I want to use in that story, and the purpose for that story is a little bit different. It's just telling Simon Peter getting some comfort from the Lord and sort of basically forgiven for what he had done weeks earlier when he denied Jesus on the night of the trial of Jesus, the night that Jesus was betrayed and leading up to the crucifixion. But what I wanted to draw from this story and use as an illustration is sometimes us as Christians, after Jesus had filled our nets years ago and supplied what we have been fishing for, if you will, and satisfied us so much, we run on empty, if you will. We feel as though we've got nothing in our nets now. Got nothing in us. So we go out fishing on the sea of the world, and we go out seeking to get filled by things that will never fill us, and we know they will never fill us. And we go out fishing for things that won't fill our nets. And we fish and we fish and we fish and we fish until we're wore out. We're saying, none of this is filling me. And then something in us clicks. And Jesus comes walking on the shores of our life and says, have you caught anything while you've been away fishing? Have you got anything in your net? And we say no. And it's revealed to us the reason we haven't been filled like we once were, our nets are empty and aren't filled like they once were, is because we didn't let the one who filled us first fill us again. We went and searched for something to fill a void in us rather than remembering what filled our void the first time and letting him fill it again. So if you, as a Christian, feel like your net has run out, remember who filled it the first time and let him fill it again. Because just like Jesus did at the beginning when he first met Andrew, Peter, James, and John, when they were away fishing and had a bad night and hadn't caught anything, when he filled their nets, he filled them again when they had been fishing and hadn't caught anything. So if he filled you once and you've ran on empty, he'll fill you again. And if you have been searching for something to fill your nets, or your net, or just you spiritually, Jesus can fill you up. And trust me, friend, he'll fill you with joy and peace and contentment like you've never had before. So this is a word for people that have been running, looking for things, and Christians that have run on empty and are looking for things to fill them without seeking the true one that can fill them. So this is a word for two sets of people from two different stories with two different illustrations. So hopefully this helps all of y'all. God bless y'all.